Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. Hope you are doing great. We'll start in a few. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Maybe good morning to some. I hope you are doing great. I want just to do some technical checks. If you can hear my voice clearly, please drop me a message in the chat section to let me know that you can hear me clearly. Let me have your feedback. Let me have your feedback. Thanks, Adriana. Being the first to answer, it means that success to PMP is secured. All right, thank you for confirming. My name is Mimi Christian. I'm a community engagement partner with PMI Sub-Saharan Africa region, and today I'm responsible of opening this revision session. Your dear friend Nelson will not be able to make it today, but I extend his greetings to you. So today is a bit special because we are going to talk about managing training, building a team, and removing impediments. So it's about managing resources, and also our key stakeholders. So we have an expert in the house, his name is Gerald. He will have time to introduce himself. But while giving some minutes, to our fellow friends, to connect, I would like to know where you are connecting from. So you answer two questions from me. Let us know where you are connecting from and when do you intend to write your PMP exam. I'm sure all of you, none of you will say that they are going to write in the let's say in July, because I'm sure you know that PMP is changing 1st of July. So let me know where you're connecting from. So Fana is connecting from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Great. April. Oh, that's awesome. Is at the corner. You are at the right place. So Rose is writing in 2 weeks. Issa du Burkina. Bonsoir, Issa. Issa is chatting us live from Ouagadougou. Oh, wow, he's dropping. He's dropping. Okay, Zimele from South Africa, April. So we are going to have good news very soon. Charles from Nairobi, April. Yeah, Philippe Missy du Togo, bonsoir. You are writing in 12 days. All the best. I'm sure you will come back to us with the good news. All right, so we have Africa connected. You can see people from Kampala, from Tanzania, from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Cape Town. Yeah, Cape Town. We are coming live in Cape Town in September for the Africa conference. So, Nicola, we hope we'll meet there and celebrate your PMP together. Let me tell you that that's also a great thing about this revision group, because last year when Kigali, Rwanda, and we met some of the candidates there. They got their badge live from Pennsylvania, their PMP badge. So I hope I'll meet all you guys in Cape Town very soon, or maybe in one of our countries where we have community and organizing some event. Yeah, so hello from Zimbabwe, hello from Port Harcourt, awesome. Hello from Malawi, bonsoir de la Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. Hello from Tanzania, hello from Ghana. Yes, that's awesome. I guess, yeah, we have someone from Mali. Yes, we are planning also to open a chapter in Mali. So very soon you share your expertise with us. That's great. That's awesome. I guess we have the minimum number of participants for us to kick off. So, Mr. Gerald, the floor is yours. You can see from the chats that everyone is eager to receive from your expertise for them to be more than ready and get that so sought after PMP. Gerald, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mimi, and thank you, Nelson, who is not here, and all our team at the Sub-Sahara region. Really appreciate for you to put together this for us to be able to share. And there's been a lot of interest for it, and we appreciate you for really doing this for us. Yeah, so hey, it's good to be here and to hear from everyone across Africa. Really very nice to be sharing with you this very important topic on managing training, building a team, and removing impediments in our projects. But before I go any further, I wanted to introduce myself, and I'm Gerard. My background is in engineering, so that's what I've been practicing the last 16 years, but with a special focus on projects. So I did a lot of engineering projects in telecom infrastructure. And my PMP was I certified on January 16th, 2014. So guess how old that is? That's like what, 12 years? And that changed my whole life, my career path. And it's been a very interesting journey. And on top of that, I've added the SCP. And my recent one is the PMOCP. I also lead the ATP called Crosslinks. I'm the team leader here. I'm very excited. So I'll be in just the first two slides. I'll be just sharing what we do as Crosslinks. Not bore you with lots of things, but we are an ATP in Uganda, and we're very proud that we train the highest number of PMPs in Uganda with a 94% pass rate. And we really in this area of transformative training. That's our vision. empowering organizations and individuals with customized training for sustainable value delivery. And those are our core values: innovation, collaboration, agility, respect, and excellence. You can find out more about us on those on our website or through our LinkedIn profile. So, but in a nutshell, we do these three things. So these are services we offer. We, of course, we offer training in project management with those, CAPM, PMP, PMISCP, PMICP, and PMOCP, and ISO certifications, and a lot other strategy and leadership trainings. We also do offer consultants training if organizations have approached us, those that require or want to set up PMOs, project management offices, or those that are learning the new methods around agile or hybrid and they want to customize it to their environment. We have offered that training. But also we have recently set up a test center so that we can provide an end-to-end ecosystem for our students. And so far, so good. We're now able to offer those exams. On the last one on the list is gonna be the PMP, which we're expecting very soon. So that's really about Crosslinks. So if you don't mind, now I can dive into our agenda of the day. Okay, could you still hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, you're
Yes, we can
audible.
hear you.
Great, great. Okay, so this is our agenda. Managing training, building project team, addressing and removing team impediments, obstacles, and blockers. So we will start with the first topic. I'm very passionate about this because I've been doing training for the last 7 years, preparing our candidates for exam. When I did my exam, we didn't even have echo. The time when I did my PMP, all we had was the PM book. And I want you to imagine reading the PM book as you prepare for your exam. That was quite intense and very tough. But today you have a little bit more resources and more support. And that's why I'm very excited to give you some of my experience from doing this over the years. So let's go into this knowledge area of people. Remember that we have three domains in that our exam focuses on: people, processes, and business environment. So my presentation today is really around people. You know that projects are done for people, but projects are also done by people. So the people doing the projects for the people require a lot of interactions. And that would probably be called stakeholder engagement. But it's very important that the project team and stakeholders who are working on the project have the competences that are needed to deliver the project outcome. Okay, very, very crucial. So that's why this topic is important, that we not, as a project manager, your exam will be interrogating you around the fact that you understand that when you assemble a project team together and then you have identified your stakeholders, you've got to do some work around analyzing their training gaps and addressing them before before or during the project execution. So that's what I'm going to be talking about to you today. Okay, so I have really tried to list these ones, the training in terms of steps to ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. So if you like, there are like really 4 steps that capture the training aspect. And I picked this from the echo that we have in our in our PMP preparation notes. Okay, so the first thing really, when you have identified your stakeholders and you have put your project team together, is to determine the required competences. So you have a project. What competences do you require um, that you need to scale your team? Okay. So, determine the required competences. Are very, very important. And that is something that project managers need to really focus on. So effective projects will depend on competent and well-prepared team members and stakeholders. So the project manager plays a key role in ensuring that the people involved in the project have the skills, they have the knowledge, the understanding required to perform their roles. And this involves identifying those training needs, selecting appropriate training approaches, allocating resources, and evaluating whether the training achieved its intended outcomes. So that's what we're going to be covering on this slide, as you can see. Okay, so so we'll be looking at the 3 methodologies. What's the perspective of training in terms of predictive projects, in terms of adaptive projects and hybrid projects? Really high level, such that you can appreciate. So when I say required competencies, so really the first step is to identify the skills, the knowledge, and the capabilities required for successful execution. Okay, and this includes both what I call technical competences, the tools, the systems or methodologies, and then interpersonal competences. So in terms of communication, collaboration, and leadership. So if, for example, you're doing a technical project, let's say a construction project, okay, you need guys with technical skills to do the actual construction. Question is, the people or the team you have, do they have those skills? If yes, great. If no, and maybe there's one more skill lacking, then skill them or have it in plan to skill them. I'll give you an example of one of the projects we are doing in the telecom. So we are rolling out 5G. Many of you know that 5G is a new technology, maybe in the last 2 or 3 years. And there were not too many people in our country who had the skills around 5G. So we had to skill the team, our technical team that was working and rolling out 5G. So then that becomes, a gap that needs to be closed. Even, so from the engineers who are installing the equipment, those that were optimizing the sites, and those that
And
were
also,
maintaining it,
which
all of
which
those
one are you?
required
Branch are you?
scaling. I think there is some background noise. Yeah, but all of that required skills. So that's what I'm calling technical competence or technical gaps that need to be closed. Then when it comes to interpersonal skills or interpersonal competences, those ones, how do you communicate on a project? How do you collaborate? How about leadership? So the project manager assesses the capabilities of the team members and the stakeholders and identifies the gaps that require training or development. So that's the first point or the first step that the exam will be really pushing you to understand that it's the role of the PM to identify the skill gaps and define if it's a technical or an interpersonal skill that requires to be addressed. I gave an example of there. A predictive project may require MS project scheduling skills, while an agile project may need training in Scrum ceremonies. So sometimes you have an agile project, but the team are new to agile, so you might have to introduce or do some training around Scrum ceremonies. The second step is to determine the training options. So, okay, they have a training gap, they have a skill gap that needs to be addressed. So what options do I have? So am I gonna do this training as a workshop or as coaching, mentoring, or simulations, or am I gonna do it on e-learning or, you know, uh, basically follow one of those things. So you've got to define what kind of training option you are going to use. Okay, so the training options are quite important. And then but now across the three methodologies, like I mentioned, you've got to be able to think about the three methodologies. So in predictive environment, training often focuses on structured processes. So things like documentation, scheduling, tools, and defined roles. And then when it comes to adaptive environment, the emphasis is placed on collaboration, agile practices, um, iterative delivery, and then what we call team self-organization. If it's hybrid, then it's really the mix of the two, both the predictive governance and the adaptive delivery techniques. So determine the training needs, then determine the options. Then you need to allocate resources in terms of budget, time, tools, and trainers to enable effective learning. And lastly, you've got to measure training outcomes, evaluate improvement through performance, feedback, lessons learned, and retrospectives. So these are the steps that the exam will be expecting you. Remember, when you are in this exam, usually what would the project manager do, or whose responsibility is it to train to close these gaps? It's the project manager's role. And I gave you a perspective around the three methodologies and said, look, if you're training for a predictive project, then it's going to be mostly a structured training program, formal role-based competence development. If it's agile, it's more continuous learning, coaching, collaboration, peer learning, iterative improvement, and retrospectives. When you have retrospectives at the end of your iterations, those are learning moments. Those are moments when knowledge is shared. And in hybrid, as a mix of formal training with ongoing agile learning and feedback cycles. So in terms of project management, our training is often viewed as either coaching or training or mentoring. So I've tried to really just do a table so that I can make it, maybe you can remember this easily and quickly and differentiate each of these terms and where we apply them. Sometimes they crisscross, and what would be the most suited audience. Okay, so what we call coaching, it's really around inspiring individuals to maximize their potential. Okay, so when you are a coach, like the coach of a football team, I love Arsenal. Okay, so Mikel Arteta will assemble a team of talented footballers, and what he does is to coach them. Okay, so they are already talented. They have something that they offer that they can do, but he inspires them to maximize their talent. So his training, his advice to them enhances already what they have. So whenever you say I am going to coach someone, then you are not starting them from zero. They have something. Okay, so the goal of coaching is skill improvement and motivation. And usually, who does this, individuals or teams? And when it comes to training, it's a structured transfer of knowledge. So really, like what we're doing, what we do when we train for candidates for PMP exam, or what you did when you are going into your education in before university or even at university. It's a structured transfer of knowledge. You are enabled, so it's a skill mastery, upskilling, and it's also done at individual and group level. And then mentoring is long-term guidance from experts. So it's empowering. It's career progression, professional growth, and novice to expert pairs. Okay, an example of a Scrum Master may coach a team on agile practices while a mentor guides a junior PM on career development. So you can see those three words if you like: coaching enhances, training enables, mentoring empowers. And if you can remember that, then you've understood what project management training really covers around those three areas. Another way to look at coaching, training, and mentoring is really this. Coaching is formal, training is professional, mentoring is informal. In terms of time, coaching is long term, training is short term, mentoring is long term. In terms of performance, in terms of emphasis, performance, coaching is performance, training is skills, mentoring is competence. And then in terms of facilitator, coaching is a leader, training is a teacher, mentoring is an expert. And then in terms of responsibility for growth, high, low for training, mentoring is high. And in terms of focus, like I mentioned in the previous slide, coaching is focused on performance improvement, training is knowledge transfer, and then mentoring is professional growth. And then interactions, coaching is indirect, so it's hands-off. Training is hands-on, it's direct. Mentoring is also hands-off, it's indirect. So I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know who is willing to answer this one quickly. So as ATPs who prepare you candidates for the PMP exams, what are we? Are we coaches, trainers, mentors, coaches and trainers and mentors, or coaches and mentors? Choose one. Who wants? Can you drop your answers in the chat room, and maybe Mimi can share what answers are coming through there. Mimi, can you support me on that? The ATPs, what are they in terms of coaching, training, and mentoring?
Sure. So we have one answer for now. Someone says coach.
Coach. Okay, so just one answer?
I believe it's training.
Yes. It is training, guys.
Trainer?
Okay. Sorry?
Trainer and a mentor.
Okay. Training and mentor. Interesting. Okay. But ATP is by definition authorized training partners. Okay. So they are trainers. So they fall in the category of this. I'm not saying they don't coach or mentor. They actually do a bit of that later on after the PMP, after most of these candidates have passed the exam. They stay around either coaching or being mentored, all of that. But in the session of their prep exam, it is training. The 40 hours are 40 hours of training. So it's short term, it's teacher, student, and it's a knowledge transfer, and it's professional. Okay, so it's important to understand that the project manager must understand what kind of training is required by their team. Is it coaching? Is it training? Is it mentoring? And I hope that this has shed some light and differentiation across the three words that sometimes we are common, but we can tend to confuse them. Okay. Here are some elements of training. We provided teams, small groups, or individuals. Like I mentioned, this training can be done for individuals, small groups, or really just teams, and covers management, technical, or administrative topics. And delivery models or methods can be instructor-led, classroom, virtual classroom, self-paced e-learning, document reviews, interactive simulations, or on-job training. All of these are ways in which or forms of training that are available today. So the project manager can choose or is expected to utilize one of those methods for their teams. Okay. Now, seems like we've now covered the first part of our training. So I have some questions for you. And Mimi, again, if the team could answer this question. So I'm going to read the question. It's a practice question, just really to try and test if you're on the same page here. And then you can give your answers in the chat box. Yeah.
So, Gerard, a quick one. So,
Yeah.
hello, candidates. What we'll do is that one Gerard will just read through, drop the answers in the chat. And Gerard, I don't know whether you can see the conversation in the chat, so that you have an idea of the answers. And
No, I can't see. Yes.
no problem. So maybe you can give some time, and after the time, you just explain and give the right answer. So, yeah, for us to move on to avoid the interaction. Okay, so Gerard, you can go on, even though answers are started dropping. You can go on.
Okay, actually, I can see that. I think I've clicked on I can see the answers in the chat room. That's fine.
Great.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, cool. So, as part of a project deliverable, project manager demonstrates how to use one of the products to a subset of a client's employee through a 30 minutes virtual conference call. The client's employees complain that a 2-day workshop would have been more effective for training. What would be the project? What should the project manager have done to prevent this complaint? A, assess the training needs of the client's employees. B, included this risk in the risk management plan. C, provided a contingency reserve for additional training. D, developed an asynchronous training plan. And what I see mostly in the chat is A. Okay. Maybe one of you should put up the hand to explain why you were saying why your answer A. Who's brave enough to put up their hand, and then Mimi can unmute them to give their comment.
Okay, great. The mic is open, so we'll go according to the first come, first serve. So yeah, Christian now.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, clearly.
All right, okay. So I mean, looking at the question, I opted for A because, and first of all, to be able to deliver any form of training, you first need to understand the needs of the people you are delivering the training for. And I think the general PM mindset talks about first assessing the problem, to understand the problem before proposing a solution. So you don't get to propose a solution that doesn't solve the problem. So that is why I think that before you go ahead to deliver a training, you need to first of all understand their needs, what form of training they actually need, so you can be able to provide such particular training to meet their needs.
You know what? I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much. That's a very good explanation and really fits well with what we said. Remember, the first point I made is that you've got to determine the gaps. You've got to assess the training needs of your team. Don't assume, ask, engage, talk with them, and understand what their gaps are that you need to address. So A is the right answer. Assess the training needs of the client's employee. The best way to prevent a complaint about training method is to assess the training needs of the client employees and develop a training plan that meets their needs. This includes training, considering the level of knowledge and experience of employees, the complexity of the product, and the desired outcomes of the training. the project manager had assessed the training needs of the client employees, they may have realized that a two-day workshop would have been more effective. So very spot on. But I like that explanation. I have another question here. Again, you can put your answers in the chat room. We have to look at them. All of training has all of the following characteristics except A, it includes all activities designed to enhance competencies of the project team members. B, it can be formal or informal. Examples of training methods include classroom, online, computer-based on-job training from another project team member, mentoring and coaching. C, if a project team member lacks necessary management or technical skills, the project should be deemed outside the core competences of the performing organization, outsourced or abandoned. D, if project team members lack necessary management or technical skills, such skills can be developed as part of project work. So, which is the odd man out? Okay, I see a lot of C's in the chat room here. And yeah, let me see. Do I see any different answer here? It's mostly C's. Okay. So once again, who wants to give us a reason why they chose their answer? Mimi, are you able to see who's unmuted?
Yes, Anima, you can open your mic and answer.
Yeah, and thank you. Why I'm choosing for the C is that the training, has all the following character accepted the C, because C it's mentioned if the project team lack necessary management or technical skills, project should be deemed outside and competence. So, and as trainers, no need to mention the trainers' requirements and also characters of the trainers' requirements. Accepted for the C, the rest is part of the characteristic of the trainers. Over.
Fantastic. Thank you, Halima. Really, yeah, really appreciate that explanation. Fits well. Yeah, so answer is C. We'll go with Halima's explanation. I appreciate that. And the last one on this topic is, which of the following will the project manager need to ensure before effective training can take place? Choose 2. Training is successfully resourced and scheduled. The final project sign-off has been received. Reminders should be sent to confirm the trainees' participation. Billing for the training should have taken place. So again, you can post your answers in the chat, and then we can have someone to explain. Okay, so I'm waiting. You remember in this question, you have to choose 2. Okay, so one answer is not enough. One option is not enough. You've got to qualify it with 2. You just can't say A. That would be half a. Is there anything like that? Half a mark? No. So it needs to be 2 options. Choose 2. Okay, I see a lot of A and C. I have also seen A and B. I have also seen A, yeah, A and B, A and C, A and B. Okay. Okay, so can we have someone explain why, especially the one who has given A and B, even A and C? I would like to hear from you why that choice. Okay.
Can I go, my brother?
Oh yeah, you can. Which one was yours? Which one did you choose?
A and C.
A and C. Okay, give us the reasons why.
Yeah, the reason is why I'm choosing A and C for this question aspect is The question already is asking, the following project, the two following with the project manager need to ensure before effective training can take place. Number one is the required training schedule, resource, and everything is successfully completed. If you are not prepared, the training materials, resource, and also you are not mentioning the day the training will be conducted, this training is not will be success. Number one. Number two is that remember you should send the confirmation of the participants. You have to invite the participants. So that too is a first priority. After that, you use that too, and your training will be effective. Over.
Great, thanks, Halima. Okay, can we also have someone who gave A and B give their comment why they chose, why they think so? Salome, or I see Salome, or Osibongile, any of you? Do you unmute and give us the Christian?
Yeah, Christian. Actually,
right.
the mics
Yes,
are
I
open, so you can go on, Christian.
actually chose A and B. I'm not sure about that, but I'm just explaining my logic behind that. So my understanding is that for a training to happen, the training is happening because of a project that is about to be carried out, and the project needs to be signed off to indicate that the project is happening before a training gets to occur. Other than that, there might be a training happening that necessarily won't be needed, because if there's no final sign off on the project and eventually it's not happening, then the training might be a waste. So from that angle, I am thinking that it will be important to get a sign off on the project that is happening before the training actually proceeds.
Very good point. I love that. Okay, anyone wants to respond to that? Ayuba? Ibrahim?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I am not going to go far. I'll take this training as an example. Um, the person that is handling this forum, taking as a project manager, for instance, for us to have this effective training, he or she has to first of all have a resource person, put all the resources together, and schedule a time and date for us to have this training done. Then going by the second answer, which is the C, we're made to confirm our participation by registering for this team and making sure that reminders were sent, links were sent prior to the start of this training. So this actually has to be based for us to have an effective training. That's a simple example I'll have here. Thank you.
All right. Okay, very interesting points of view there. Okay, so the answers are A and C. Now, I like the explanation of Christian, why he chose B. But here, the question is really focusing on training. It's assumed that the project has already been signed off, and it's really more focused on training and what needs to be done before training can take place. So, but I hear you, but that's the real thing about the PMP exam, is that you have like 3 answers or 4 answers correct, but they want the most correct answer that speaks to the question at hand. And those are some of the skills you need to have. So because this question is focused on training, therefore, A and C fit the question at hand. That's the most correct answer. The assumption is that the project has already been signed off by this time. That's number one. Number two, remember, where does training happen? Is it in the initiating stages of the project? Is it in the planning stages of the project? Is it in execution and implementation, or is it in closure? Okay. And where does sign off happen? In the initiating process group, planning, or closure? I think this sign off is happening in the initiating, the final project sign off. Is it in the initiating, or this is the closure of the project? Okay. Training does not happen in any of either initiating or final. It happens during implementation. And so that's why A and C become the right answer for this question. I hope that that is that you can agree with me for those options as the right
Yes,
one.
yes. Thank you so much for the explanation.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to a close of the first part of training. But I want you to remember this slide here. Okay, and I hope you are able to understand the difference for those three. But here are the steps to ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. Please also remember that it's not just the project team that you train, even stakeholders. Okay, you've seen projects where you go to the stakeholders either in the rural area who are beneficiaries from this project and train them on how to utilize the outcomes of the deliverables of the project, okay, or how they are going to handle the benefits. So it's not just the project team that you train stakeholders and all of those that are impacted by the project and who will benefit from its outcome. So determine the competences, determine the training gaps or the gaps that they have, and then what options are you going to use, and then allocate training budget and resources towards it, and then measure the outcome of your training. Those four steps are very crucial as you wrap up your mind around training your stakeholders and project team members for your project. Okay. And remember that you can choose either coaching or training or mentoring, whatever fits your audience. Now, I want to move to the next topic, which is close to the first one we've done. And actually, this will be like just one slide. Building the project team. So the purpose is to ensure that the project team has right people, has the right skills and knowledge to deliver project value. So a lot of what I'm going to talk here is related to what we've just covered. But when you're building your project team, you are focusing on this, that you have the right people with the right skills. If you're going to build a bridge, then you need to bring people who have the right skills, the right people, the right skills, and the knowledge to deliver value. Otherwise, you will be stuck. So again, these are just steps you can use to build your team. Assess the stakeholder skills. So the project manager assesses competences, experience, and strength, and aligns the people they have on their project with the project roles. Okay. So if someone is going to be your project sponsor, the assumption is that they know what their role is. If someone's going to be your project owner, the assumption is that they should know what their role entails. So if it's a technical lead, then they should know what their role entails. Okay. Now then define the resource needs. Identify the required roles, the expertise, the team capacity based on the scope and objective. So each project is unique. You know that. Okay. Every project that you call a project is unique because it has unique objectives and unique outcomes. So you've got to define the capacity, the expertise, the roles of your team members based, and your stakeholders based on the project scope and what objectives you've got to deliver. And then the project manager needs to monitor performance continuous, basically to refresh they need to refresh skills continuously. Okay, yeah, monitor performance, close skill gaps through training, mentoring, and feedback. And then knowledge transfer, encourage collaboration, document lessons learned, and ensure knowledge sharing. Okay, so across the three methodologies, is that if you're building a team for predictive methodology, you must define roles in a formal resource planning structure. Okay, and then you structure their competences, because then at the end of the project, you'll have to evaluate or reward your team based on a structured method that you have used. For adaptive projects, cross-functional teams, and continuous learning and self-organization. Remember, for adaptive projects or agile projects, we said teams must be self-organizing. Okay, so you have teams that are working together, they're learning from each other. There's a lot of peer learning, and they're self-organizing, and they know how to work together to deliver their results to the customer. And hybrid combines the structured planning with iterative learning and skills development. So in terms of building a team, those are some of the things you've got to focus on. Okay, so I have my team that's going to do the work for me, or that's going to do my project. Do they have the needed skills? What skills, by the way, do I need for this project to be completed? Okay, you might find that you need team members who have MS project skills. Okay, so then you must be able to find someone who can baseline your project using that. Okay, and then you continually check that they have the skills to perform the job at hand. And then knowledge transfer is crucial, as I have mentioned before. In terms of looking at team roles, I think you're very clear about the team roles in predictive and adaptive projects or agile projects. But in hybrid, the project manager oversees the integration of the project plan. And the product owner owns the product vision and value delivery. The Scrum Master, Agile Coach builds collaborative environment, removes impediments, and then the team members are what we call the domain experts. These are the guys that do the work. Okay. So in a hybrid project, the project manager integrates governance while the product owner drives backlog prioritization. So it's very crucial that you understand these roles of the key people on your project team, especially. What does the project manager do? What does the product owner do? What the Scrum Master does? What the team members do? The exam questions will really ask you around those roles. But the key thing here is for you to understand what methodology. Is this hybrid? Is this predictive? Is this agile? Okay, you must be very clear what methodology the question is addressing. Because if they ask, sometimes you think because it's hybrid, there's no project manager. But actually, if it's hybrid methodology, the project manager exists in that environment. Okay, but their role is different from team members. The team members do the actual work. They are the experts at executing work. So I thought that this would be important for you to have an appreciation of the different roles. So learn the right way to motivate your team. The do's and don'ts, really very clear here. You inspire your team, your project team, with opportunities, not obligations. Yeah. So why did you choose me to be on your team? What is in it for me? Okay. What are the opportunities? I assembled, I invited you to be part of my project team because this is going to help you. You're one of the few that have been selected to from across the company to run this project, and there are not so many people that have these skills across our group. And that will encourage someone. Someone will see that as an opportunity. Oh, so I'm among the select few. Okay. If you have teams that are dispersed, that are not co-located, then you've got to maintain regular contact with them. Okay, especially those virtual team members, the ones that are working remotely. Maintain regular contact. Regular can be a week, can be a month is too long, but maybe bi-weekly. But these are some of the things that the exam will be really asking you, if you will be testing to see if you understand them. And if you're a project manager and you have oversight over dispersed teams, that you have the tools and techniques on your hand to be able to engage with them on a regular basis. And then you've got to provide training and self-assessment. So these are some of the things you have to do to motivate your team. Don't overwhelm your team members with meetings and work interruptions. Don't distract them with non-project work or force unnecessary group activities. These do not motivate your team members. Okay. So again, I have some questions for you around just that knowledge area. And here is the question. So let's go back to our chat room and answer this question. So I'll give you half a minute to read the question and then choose 3. So project manager is assigned to a project that is already in progress because the original project manager left the organization unexpectedly. Unfortunately, the previous project manager did not adhere to the organization's knowledge transfer procedures prior to leaving the organization. What can the new project manager do to fill the knowledge gaps? Choose 3. Review the project documentation, including project plan, requirements document, and risk register. Proceed with the project as planned and engage in job shadowing activities. Meet with key stakeholders to understand the expectation and priorities. Interview team members to learn about their areas of expertise and experience with the project. And then E, reach out to previous project manager and request a comprehensive knowledge transfer. All right, so remember, you've got to choose 3. You've got to choose 3. What are they? So I'm expecting to see as many answers as you are on this call. All right, I see some answers coming in there, but I need to see some more. All right. Please keep them coming in, keep them coming in. Okay. I think at this point we can ask one of you to give reasons why you're choosing that answer. Mimi, you want to assist me on that?
Yes, Gerard.
Okay.
Yes. Go
So
ahead. Yeah.
you want someone to answer, or are you able to see the answers coming?
Yes, I see them.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I don't know who wants to give us their comment on that, their
Hello?
reason why. Yes.
I
Go
think I
on.
see.
Hello? Yeah, Jose here. So I just wanted to share my feedback. And I would start from the answers that I think are not correct. The first one is E, where it says reach out to the previous project manager and request a comprehensive knowledge transfer. So if this manager have already left, reaching out, I don't know how open the guy will be to share any knowledge about the project. So that might be something not achievable. So with that, then we are left with 4 answers in which another one needs to come out. And that would be which is going to be this one, number B, proceed with the project as planned and engage in job shadowing activities. So I think those two will be the ones that will be out. So the answer then will lie in number A, and number C, and number D. Because those ones will, if we look at them, they actually contain the necessary information to ensure that a proper follow-up of the project can happen. We have the risk register there. We have the required documentation, engagement with stakeholders. So, yeah. So I'll vote for this three. I'll go for this three.
Thank you, Jose. I like the way you approached the question by knocking out what you thought really does not apply, and that left you with the three clear choices of A, C, D. So that's another skill you can apply when you're answering this question. You know, but that means that you've got to read through all those options quickly and then determine that there are some that do not apply to the question at hand. So that's, I like that skill, Joseph. Thank you so much. So yes, the answer is SCD. But here's another one for you guys. Project manager's team has identified the lack of proper knowledge transfer expectations in the project. Which of the obstacles does not apply in this situation? A systematic review of the completed project, personally handled failures and mistakes, insufficient individual motivation to document lessons learned, sparse leadership involvement to promote knowledge transfer. Project manager's team has identified lack of proper knowledge transfer expectations in the project. Which of the following obstacles does not apply in this situation? Okay, so in this one, just choose one. All right, let's go. Let's post those answers quickly. All right, I see some answers coming in here. Okay, keep them coming in. All right, I see Beatrice on the call. Beatrice, would you want to explain why you're choosing that answer? Beatrice Basuta. Are you there, Beatrice? Okay, someone else can pick this up. Who wants to go at it? Go ahead, Nicola.
Okay, so I've felt that A is incorrect because it's not going to happen at the end of a project. And the other three all make sense. Lessons learned and knowledge transfer are about, the collaboration and sharing between the teams. And personally handled failures and mistakes, to me, that sounded like lessons learned as well. So BCD looked correct and A looked incorrect.
Okay.
But I might be wrong.
Right, so Nicola, your answer is A.
A, yes.
All right. Okay. Issa, your answer is C. Could you explain why you think C is the answer? Issa, you can unmute and speak. Okay, there's also Emmanuel to K. You chose B. Can you explain why you think B is the answer? Okay, these guys are shy. They've given us their answers, but they are shy. Okay, so the answer there is A. Okay, oh, did we miss D? I think we missed question 3. All right, let's do 3. Let's do 3 as well. So a project manager working in an agile environment realizes that some new team members are having difficulty understanding how more senior team members accomplished certain results on the project. What should the project manager do? So let me read that again. A project manager working in an agile environment realizes that some new team members are having difficulty understanding how more senior team members accomplished certain results on the project. What should the project manager do? Arrange a review meeting with stakeholders. Ensure team members focus on their tasks. Assess the need for knowledge transfer. Encourage and facilitate peer mentoring. Ah, you cheated, you guys. Not so. I showed you the answers. I can see. Okay. Okay. I'll give you another difficult one later. But yes, the answers are that one. So for question 3, it is D. Sorry. I need to go back here. Yeah. So the answer is D. Great. Okay. So we're doing well so far. We're now moving towards the very last topic, which
Hello,
is,
Gerard.
yes, please.
I
Go
request
ahead.
that you go back to number 2. I didn't get the explanation well.
Number 2. Okay. All right. Who wants to explain again question 2? And this is a different question. The way it is structured, yeah, and the way the answers are given it requires some bit of skill. Who wants to explain to our friend here what's going on? Okay, Rachel.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask for a more detailed explanation on this question too. So I'm happy he asked the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Now I'm looking for hands to explain. Halima, are you explaining? Okay, let's get Kara. I think Halima's hand is legacy hand. Kara,
Okay, good evening all.
good evening.
Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so if you look at the question is number 1, let's pick out the facts of the question. Fact is that which of the obstacle does not apply? So you are looking for something that is negative. Just have that in mind. Something that does not apply.
Pause a
So
bit
now,
there. Say that
yes.
slowly, Kara. Say that
So
slowly.
okay, so I said the first thing you do, if you look at the question, the first thing you do is look at what exactly is the question referring to. This time around, the question is saying which of the obstacle does not apply in this situation. Now, what is the question? A project manager's team has identified a lack of proper knowledge transfer. The team members identified that, hey, there's no proper knowledge transfer after this project. There's no signs that there's going to be proper knowledge transfer after this project. Now, what situation could warrant that? That's what they are saying. So the first answer says a systematic review of the completed project. If you do that, that will lead you to a good project knowledge transfer. So that means that A in this situation is something that if A comes up, there will be proper knowledge transfer. So, but the other ones, you will see that those other ones say personally handled failures and mistakes. Of course, that will warrant improper knowledge transfer. Insufficient individual motivation to document the lessons. Of course, that will warrant improper knowledge transfer. Then spare leadership involvement to promote knowledge transfer. Of course, that will warrant improper knowledge transfer. So the only one that will warrant proper knowledge transfer is A. So that's why A is the odd answer out. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Makes
Great.
sense.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And really that's how some questions are framed, and they can get you guessing. Oh, is it not D? is it not be, but it's important for you to understand some questions that are framed with negative connotation, and then they give you positive answers. Okay, so that's one skill that you need to hone as we go through this. Thank you so much, Kara, for that explanation. Okay, any other comment before we proceed to the final one? Addressing and removing team impediments as part of our people domain. So the purpose of this really is to enable the team to maintain productivity by identifying and removing obstacles that hinder progress. Please remember, each time you see a question about impediments, obstacles, and blockers, it's about productivity. We want the team to maintain productivity. So you must identify what things are standing in their way. What are the roadblocks? What are the walls standing in their way? What are the things stopping the team from making progress every day? What are the things that are stopping them from progressing as per plan? That's what this topic is all about. So first we'll start by really defining those three words. Impediments. An impediment is anything that slows down the team's progress, but does not completely stop work, but it slows you down. For example, a team member lacks access to a document, but can work on other tasks. But they are waiting. Maybe there is a process or there is a procedure that needs to be followed in the book that he doesn't have, or in a document that he doesn't have, and he can't proceed until that document is available. Okay, but you can proceed with other tasks. So anything that slows you down, and we understand what that means. Anything slowing you down on your project work, on executing your tasks, is an impediment. An obstacle is a challenge or a difficulty that makes achieving the objective harder, but it may not necessarily stop work completely. The example is that project team lacks experience with new technology. Like I mentioned, now when 5G, 6G is coming, or 7G. Okay, so there are not so many people with those skills. Okay, so if they brought you a 7G technology to implement in your network, or a new product that you have not made, this first time you're meeting that product, how do you handle? There will be a challenge. There will be an obstacle. Obstacles are things that make it very difficult for you to achieve. It's like something standing in your way that you must overcome. It's like a wall built in your face that you must climb and jump over the other side. Okay, you can still get over the other side, but there's hard work to do. So that's what obstacles are. And sometimes on our projects, our team members run into obstacles. And the last one is what we call a blocker. A blocker is a critical issue that completely stops progress on a task or deliverable. A contractor cannot begin work because the building permit has not been approved. Okay, that's a blocker. So in summary, impediments slow down, obstacles are challenges to overcome, and blockers give us or do a complete stop. And so as you approach your questions on the exam, have that clarity in your mind. So what is the question talking about? Is this an impediment? Is this a blocker? Is this an obstacle? And maybe this kind of illustration can help. So impediments, you understand, the team can't agree on a solution. That's another example. So it's slowing you down, like our friend at the bottom there, our friend here is, it's an example of those who move at a slow speed. So anything that impedes your project progress, obstacles, construction can't begin before permit is granted. Or you've seen athletes run, yeah, and they have these impediments. They have these obstacles that they must overcome as they run their relays, the strip chase. Remember that? Yeah. So they put so many obstacles on the track, but whoever overcomes them quicker with better skill wins it. And then blockers, the company, for example, has halted the use of a product until a new contract is signed. So a blocker is like, the red traffic light. When you are in traffic and the red light goes, you can't, you're blocked from progressing, you stop. So there are those blockers on the project that, red lights that cannot, that you must wait, or you must remove, or you must do something before you proceed. So the project manager needs to be aware of these three words and how to manage to manage them. So the steps are here: identify impediments, identify issues affecting delivery. Impediments could be within the process gaps or resource shortages on your project. There is a resource you need to do a particular piece of the work or a task, but they're not around. You've got to wait for them for 2 weeks before they arrive or before they come into Uganda. Or there's a technical issue that needs to be resolved, or there's a stakeholder constraint, or those are impediments. Now, so identify those impediments, but prioritize blockers first. That's a very important thing. Remember, we said that blockers do a complete halt or stop of your work. So you can't proceed. You've stopped, you're waiting until something is done. So focus first on blockers that have the greatest impact on project objectives or team performance. And then in order to resolve those impediments, blockers, and obstacles, leverage networks to resolve. Use leadership influence, stakeholder engagement, organizational networks to remove barriers, okay, and implement solutions. Barriers is the same as blockers, okay? So leadership, especially, your senior managers or your senior management should be able to help you to remove and resolve those obstacles and impediments that are slowing your work. But the project manager must continuously reassess, monitor the project environment, and address new impediments quickly. So at a methodology perspective, predictive, the issues are managed through what we call the formal issues log. Remember that when a risk becomes an issue, then you've got to move and write it into the issues log, okay? And then issue responsibility around it, accountability. Who is accountable for this? Who is responsible? And when is it expected to be resolved? And then provide an escalation path, and the change control should you require to make some changes before you proceed. So that is how we handle, or that's what really these blockers, impediments, and obstacles do to our predictive methodology. When it comes to adaptive, teams surface blockers in daily stand-up meetings and remove them quickly through collaboration. Remember that the goal of daily stand-up meetings is to ask 3 questions. What have we achieved? What did we do yesterday? What are we doing today? And what's the third question? Who wants to remind me? I'm waiting. It's not on this, but you should be knowing this now. The 3 questions we ask on our stand-up meetings.
What are the
Our daily
blockers?
stand-up meeting.
What are the
What
challenges? The challenges.
What are the challenges?
Yeah.
Yes. So the first question is,
I think the first has to
just
do with
repeat.
what you
Just say
completed
all of them together.
previously.
Mhm. Yes. Then what are you going to do, and what are the challenges? What are the issues? What are the blockers? What are the things that are stopping us from progressing well? Okay. Now, so with agile teams, they deal with that every day. That's the goal of those stand-up meetings, to highlight those issues that have come up, and through collaboration, they are able to be addressed. You don't address them in the stand-up meeting; you address them after. And then hybrid combines those two: issue management with agile transparency and rapid resolution, plus a structured way of dealing with them. So blockers, obstacles, and impediments are things that the project manager needs to deal with every day, such that the project can continue to progress. Otherwise, you'll end up having teams that are standing by doing nothing for 8 hours because of blockers or impediments, or these obstacles that are stopping the team from doing their work. So you can imagine if you are remunerating your teams based on hours, but they've been slowed down by something beyond their control, that only the project manager can unlock, or his networks. Okay, so that's where the project manager and the scrum master come in handy to be able to resolve those issues that pop up. So discover and solve impediments using Scrum. Now, in the pure agile world, these are the steps: discover the problem and the cause, solve it. The Scrum Master is responsible for finding a resolution with concerned parties. Okay, so that's an exam question statement. Who is responsible for resolving or for finding a solution for impediments in an agile environment? The Scrum Master, in concert with concerned parties. Often involves dealing with conflict somewhere in the organization. Resolution can help the organization grow in agility. So the Scrum Master has a responsibility to resolve or to find solutions or resolutions for those issues that come up. Remove impediments, so track impediments, reprioritize backlog, use daily stand-up meeting, and then in terms of interpersonal skills, be a servant leader. So use your skills as a servant leader to resolve or to remove those impediments that slow us or slow your team down. Okay, so I also have some 3 questions here for you to answer. Let's go. So what's the difference between risks and issues? And then so you can answer that, and then you can answer question number 2. Let's go and put the answers in the chat room. Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers here. All right, I'm waiting for answers. Keep sharing your answers. Okay. Okay. So answer question 2 as well, so that we can handle them together. Okay, so question number 1. I see a lot of you are answering A and D. Can I get some qualification? Can we get someone to qualify their answer? One of you should do unmute and then you qualify your answer.
For question 1, it's D. I don't think it's
Question
A and
one.
D. It should
Uh-huh.
be D only. Why am I saying that it's D? It's because a risk may not occur. For risks to be uncertain, I'm not so sure about that. So D answers better about this question. So 1 should be D only and not A and D, according to me.
But then the examiner is asking you to choose two. So you want to disagree with the examiner?
Can I come in?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's both A and D because a risk is something that is uncertain. So it may occur, it may not. So whereas an issue is something that has happened. So there's certainty with it, where you know the fact that it has happened. So that's why I'm saying it's A and D.
Okay, cool. Any other comment? I agree with you. I agree with what you just said. Yeah. But this is to respond to the earlier candidate. You said that the answer is only D. Please don't do that because the examiner is saying choose two. So you must choose two. If you only choose one, it means that you might not get the answer. You might not get all the marks for the question. And in some cases, it's the mark is assigned to both answers. So one mark is assigned to both answers, so you'll fail. So if they have said two, you must choose two. Okay, so let's understand this. What's the difference between risks and issue? A risk is an uncertain event that may not occur on a project. And so A answers that, whereas an issue is a risk that has occurred. So it is certain. I give an example. Let's say the risk to our project is that it might rain while because our project is done in the open. When it rains, it affects our work. It affects our project deliverables. So the risk of raining when we are working becomes something that uh, we must uh, we must accept, or we must be able to record in our risk register. So the risk that if it rains, we will be impacted. Our team have to stop, we have to close, and then demobilize. So that's the risk. Now, until it rains, it remains a risk. When it rains, when the rain come actually, then it's no longer a risk, it has become an issue. And we've got to respond to issues in a different way from how we respond to risks. Okay, so a risk is an uncertain event, an issue is what has happened. A risk may not occur, an issue has occurred. So A and D clearly are what the answers are, and I agree with what most of you have answered. Now, when we go to question number 2, during a hybrid project, a project manager reviews the project team's performance and realizes that the team's velocity is not fast enough to meet the next review gate goal. What should the project manager do? Prioritize the contents of the backlog and remove some stories. Increase the sprint duration to allow the team more time. Use stand-up meetings to assess impediments and problems. Create a change request to modify the review gate goals. And what do you choose? Okay, what were your answers for question 2? Any answers here? Okay, can I
C.
get some explanations?
Yeah, C, it's because the startup meeting will try to identify what are the issues with the team members. Otherwise, he needs first of all to understand what are the problems, what are the impediments, what are the problems with the team, for them not to perform up to their expectation.
Right. Yeah. So do you all
Hello?
agree that C is the, yeah? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I will agree with the colleague as well. C would be the correct answer. And as the topic suggests, as we're talking about impediment problems, we want to make sure that we take out of the way anything that can impact the project negatively. So we see that there is an issue, right? That they are not getting fast enough as expected because something is on the way. So we need to make sure that it is cleared so that the team can, achieve the project objectives.
All right. Great. I agree with you. Yeah. We agree with you. Thank you. Okay. And then there is this question for knowledge check number 3. Let's go over it and see. Okay. Just one second. Okay. All right, there it is.
Is it possible to share the slides after the meeting, please?
Say that again.
Is it possible to share the slides after the meeting, please?
Yeah, Mimi will guide on that. Yes.
Please. Thank you.
Okay. Mimi, oh, Mr. Munge, are you here now? Okay. So there is question number 3. Let's answer them. An organization decides to implement the Scrum delivery framework. The project manager is using an impediment board with the Scrum team to identify and raise impediments. What should happen after the impediments are recorded? Address the highest priority impediments from the log and ensure that it's removed so that the team can continue to reach the sprint objective. Prioritize impediments based on their levels of importance and in relation to those that are already on the log. Publish and post the impediments log and make it visible to everyone. Communicate that the impediment is removed to the involved parties and update the impediments log. What should happen after the impediment has been recorded? All right, so waiting for your answers here. Okay, question 3. Question 3. All right. Okay. Mimi, are you still here or we now have Anthony? Okay. Okay, so Mimi had mentioned that would be replaced by Anton at some point. So let's see if Anton comes in here. Okay, so what answers have you given for this question 3? You're saying most of you, somebody is saying A, then others are saying B. Okay, so A, B, C. Whoa, on this one we have too many answers here. Okay, can I hear your comments? Can you unmute and defend your answer?
Can I attempt?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I chose A because the question is asking
what should happen after the impediments are recorded.
Yeah.
And when I compare A and B is still talking about the recording and prioritization of the impediments. But when you look at A, then it talks to what are we doing then after we've recorded the impediments, which is addressing them in the highest priority, in a form of priority. So C and D for me were already out. Thank you.
Okay. So that is Anna. Can I get others to defend their answers, please? Because this one is very interesting. You have all given different answers. There's A, there is B, there is C.
If an impediment is to come, one is to first of all understand the magnitude of impact, or maybe how big it is in relation to the project itself, before
Okay.
it is to be slotted in the scale of the in the log, in the impediments log. So once you prioritize, you slot it in the impediments log, and then you address the issues from the log. So I think B is coming first before A.
Okay. So your answer is B. All right. Can I hear those who
Yes.
chose A and those who chose C? Why you chose those options? Come on, defend your answer.
Yeah, if I may, I think it's also B, because after the impediment are recorded, it's important to prioritize them to see the level of importance before addressing them. So for me, it's B, looking at that way. Mhm.
Okay.
Hello, can I contribute?
Yes, go ahead.
I agree with the previous speaker. C and D are out. Now I'm trying to compare A and B. I also think of striking B because I don't think if the impediments have importance, brokers cannot be important. So saying that prioritize the impediments based on their level of importance, I think that what makes it be wrong. But also address the highest priority means that already the priority has been set, is already been set. Now I'm taking the highest priority. That is the one which has most, impact on the project to reach the print objective. So the answer is A. Thank you.
Interesting comment. Okay. So the one who answered C, can I hear from you? And then we can have the ones we can have one response to the correct answer. Someone answered C.
Yeah, I will try that. Though I had B earlier, but for C, my thinking was that yes, these are impediments, and some of them may not be at the level of. It may need the information of all stakeholders. You know, they all have to be aware of. There may be different types of impediments which will require different interventions. So I was thinking that once it's recorded and it should be, published and posted for all to see. And then I think from there, whatever needs to be addressed, the other steps will follow. That was my thinking.
Okay. Yeah. So that thinking, the problem with that thinking is this. So the project manager is using an impediment board with the Scrum team to identify and raise
So that's what
impediments.
I
So
later on realized. Yeah.
So that has already been done.
Mm.
So that has already been done, and so that invalidates this choice, because that's what the impediment board does. It publishes and posts those impediments so that they are visible. So that has already been done. Now, what's the next thing once it's been recorded there? What is the next thing? Do we address the highest priority impediments from the log and ensure? Please remember that remember a process like this. I'm trying to get okay, the pen here. So remember that you have a log like this, a backlog here with your backlog items in here, including those impediments. So we are saying that once an impediment has been recorded and you bring and put it in here, okay, what should happen? Should we just go ahead and address the highest priority impediment in this bucket, or we should put in this bucket and then ask the product owner and the team to reprioritize these impediments based on the levels of importance? What should really happen next? Should we just continue? Because already the one on the top here is the highest priority, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if I come and drop in another one, it does not change priority if I choose option number A. But if I choose option number B, it means that when I bring in another impediment, then I have to reprioritize. We have to reprioritize these impediments based on what is important. Okay, so what is the most correct answer?
Well, I don't know, but now looking at it, I may be wrong, but I would look at D, because D says communicate that the impediment is removed to the involved parties and update the impediments log. So it's important. One thing we say in project management, communication is key. So if we don't communicate, the others might have the perception that there's still an issue there. So by communicating and being able to point out that that impediment is out, then we can maybe focus into other challenges, or if there are other impediments, but at least whatever is out could be disregarded.
It's too early to communicate. You haven't removed it yet. It's too early. Yes, you will.
We've just recorded them.
We've just recorded. Remember,
So,
they are asking
Record.
what
yeah.
will happen after
Action
the
has not been
impediment.
taken yet. You need to take an action to remove the impediment before communicating.
Yes.
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 Yeah. So we're saying that C does not apply. D as well is too
D
early.
doesn't apply.
Yeah. So
So we
There's
have
remains
to.
these
differently
two.
between A and B, but
So how do we address the highest priority then, impediment? Because the highest priority impediment would be, let's say you may have different type of impediments, but you may have the one that really, how can I put it? If you don't take that out of the way, that obstacle, even the other impediments will not be as strong as that one. If you see what I'm trying to say, it's like the key impediment.
Yeah, but we can't tell that it is the.
Can I
But
also add
how
that
do
an
you know
impediment
that it
can
is?
look?
How do you
My
know that
question
it is the
that
highest
is that
priority?
Until we compare
yes.
it with the others. Yeah.
if you don't prioritize, how do you know that
You
it's the
know,
highest?
Exactly.
an impediment could be the highest, but not the
Yes.
most important.
But not the
An
most
impediment could be
important.
the
Yeah.
highest, but not the most important at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where your
It says highest
prioritization comes
priority,
in.
but it says highest priority. How can it not be important if it says highest priority? Unless I'm
Yeah.
reading wrong, but it says highest priority. So if we hear priority,
No,
means
they're not
But
saying the
this
impediment
means
at
that
hand. They are not
you
saying the
need to
impediment at hand is the
prioritize.
highest priority. They're not saying that.
This means that you need to prioritize first
okay.
before
Yes,
knowing the highest
Yeah.
priority. So
exactly.
B comes before A.
A.
So
B comes
That's
normally
true.
before.
the answer here is B.
Okay, so many people are saying B.
Uh-huh.
It's B.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's the correct answer?
from the facilitator.
You too.
It's coming.
That's why I led this conversation.
Because I see you already ticked.
Many people are going with B, so I'm neutral.
B is already ticked. You've already ticked B.
But please tell us what's the right option here?
Because
We need to
you
know. Some of
you
us are preparing for our exams, so
you're
Because
already
yeah,
having
Some of us in a few days we are writing our exam. So, but my concern is
Okay, so the
the
answers
answers.
are
yeah.
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
been
The last one was such a big fight, but
yeah, it's
the
been
bees have it. And the explanation is really this. Listen, when you have a new impediment, you don't know how important that impediment is in comparison to the others already in the log. So
exactly.
you've got to take it there and then check with the product owner and the project team such that they can compare which one. You might find that it is not
Yeah,
even
you
the
do a
highest
comparison.
priority. Yeah, you do a
Yep.
comparison. And then, yeah, so that's the next thing to do after it has been recorded. And then you can address the highest priority. So in the order, this is like number one, this is like number two. Okay, actually, this is like number one. Okay, this is like number two, this is like number three, this is like number four. So you can see all these things can be done in this process, but now they are asking you what should happen after. In other words, what should be done next. So there
Next,
is the
yeah.
first, the second,
First.
the third, the fourth. So they gave you one, they were looking for two. Okay, before 3 and 4. So you can see all these are actually part of the process. They are part of the steps, but they gave you one. They said, okay, we have published it and we have posted it. It's visible to everyone. Now what should happen next? We prioritize the impediment based on their level of importance. And then after that, we address the highest priority impediments and then communicate the impediment. So you can see all those answers are right, but they are not correct.
Yeah, they are sequential.
They are sequential. Yes.
We need to prioritize the answers.
Exactly. So you need to have the ability to understand what when they ask what happens next or what should happen after. Those questions mean that in the answers, they have given you all the options, all the things you must do, but now they are looking at sequence. And you should be able to
I wish
tell
there was a way to simplify this the way they use their English.
First.
You know, sometimes the English is confusing.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
English can be very
And
confusing.
what I also noticed is that I think it's important to read the question well and understand the instance, like the environment of operation within the context of the question. Because my first instinct was number C. But after reading again, when I noted that there was the impediment board with the Scrum team, that means it's now once the board is there, it's communicated. Everybody knows because yeah, the board is accessible, to all the team. So then that situation is already kind of existing. So then after reading again, my choice was B. So I think there are keywords, or we need to first understand which the condition at present and what is already existing, and what should come after. So that was something I really learned from this particular question.
Now my question to you now is how do we yes, time is challenging. How do we manage this during the exam period? Because you have like a minute or a minute and something to answer a question and you are still with this little doubt. So can you tell us some tricks on how we go about this?
Yeah, so I mentioned it already. I said look out for questions when they say what should be done next. Okay, when the question says what should be done next, okay, or what should be done first, okay, or what should happen after. It's just English, But whenever you see a question saying what should be done next, or what should be done first, or what should happen after, that's just English, but they are telling you that in the answers they have given you, they have a sequence of events, and they need you to be able to know where which particular event they are referring to in the sequences given. And like like we've said here, you can see that publish and post the impediment is the first thing. Then you have to prioritize and then address and then do what? And then communicate the impediment to involved parties and update the impediments log. So it's really just understanding what happens first, like process wise, governance wise, what's the first thing that you have to do. But be careful when the question says what do you do first, what do you do next, or what happens thereafter. That means that there is a process that they expect you to know. Okay. So I don't know if that has
Good
answered your
evening, sir.
question.
Apologies for interrupting. This is
No,
Anna
no.
Marie. May I go ahead with my question? I've noticed everyone is coming in.
Go
And
ahead.
just a clarification question. From the question itself, I've noticed the questions that have come through. Will it assist with looking at it from a project manager's perspective? In the sense that what would the project manager do? What is your role and what is expected of you?
Say that
When
question again.
answering it. Okay, will it assist with when looking at these questions, you look at it from a project manager's perspective? So
Oh,
what would a
yes.
project manager do?
True. Exactly. I like that. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Please. Yeah. Please.
Mhm.
Please remember that point that that Anna Marie is bringing up. Okay. So it doesn't matter what role you are currently or what positions you hold in your current job. When you go for the PMP exam, you are a project manager. So wear the heart, the mind, and the body of a project manager. So you have to think like the project manager, because half the question will be asking you, what will the project manager do? Now, if you are a boss of a project manager currently, you might start answering like you are not one. Okay, so that I'm saying that you've got to wear a mindset, a posture of a project manager as you go to sit the exam. You are a project manager. This PMP is for project managers, guys. Okay, so you've got to wear that mindset that I'm a project manager. Do that for those 4 hours you're in the exam, and then you can get out and go back, become a managing director. Okay. All right. Any other questions? We are coming to the very end of our presentation. And yeah, I think the next one would be if you have other questions that are not really necessarily what I have presented on, but what I could support with. So in closing, these are the key takeaways. I spoke about 3 things. I spoke about training, building teams, and removing impediment. So the key thing here is that training ensures competence, and you have to tailor your training by methodology. So as you read around training, please understand what training is needed for predictive projects, what kind of training may be needed for adaptive or agile projects, what kind of training may be needed for hybrid. In terms of building teams, it requires skill alignment and knowledge transfer. So whenever you're building a project team, it's around matching the skill set of your project team with the scope of the project or the project objectives. Should you find a mismatch, then it means you have the wrong team. You've got to find one that matches the kind of objectives that you're trying to achieve for your project. And then removing impediments, blockers, and obstacles is such that the team can continue to be productive and be able to complete their tasks on time, because blockers, impediments, and obstacles slow down or they stop the project from progressing, and that anytime your project stops would be extending your end time or your projected the end time of your project. So those are the three key takeaways that you might have to remember from my presentation this evening. Thank you very much. Happy to take some more comments or questions before I hand back to Anthony. Anthony, are you here now?
Hello, Gerard. Mimi still here.
Oh,
Anthony couldn't
Mimi.
make it. Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's it from me, Mimi. Happy to hand back to you and ask if there are any questions that I might support the team before we close, but really that's it from you. I think the team asked if I can share my presentation with them. I don't know what process you have around that, but it would be good
Yeah,
for
you
you to
can
speak to that.
definitely drop it with us. We'll share it in the various groups. And
Okay.
we'll also make sure to share the recording of the session.
All right.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much, Mimi and team.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you, sir.
Gerald, I mean, I can't add
Thank you, sir.
anything more because, you know, the comment section is full of gratitude towards your expertise. Thank you again for this insightful and, you know, exciting session. We will be glad to have you in the upcoming session again. But while we are expecting you to come back, I mean, I know definitely majority of the participants here, I mean, will come back to us with the good news of them successfully passing their PMP exam. So on this note, I would like to thank everyone. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your feedback. I mean, this is also, you know, good feedback to our instructor who managed it, I mean, amazingly, and definitely is very helpful. So thank you all, and wishing best luck to those writing very soon. Don't hesitate to share your experience on the group to also motivate others. And also, as you can see on the screen, you can get in touch with Gerald anytime you wish. So here is his email address, his phone number, and also the website. So for those who want to touch base, you know, beyond this session, please, you can screenshot right now or just write down quickly so that you can touch base with Gerald. Gerald, thank you very much. We appreciate, and we hope, I mean, you will come back again for other sessions.
Thank you too. Thank you all. You've been a great audience. Really appreciate. And yeah, all the best, guys. Go and ace this exam. Come back here and do this as well.
Great.
Blessings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
luck
Thank you,
to
Thank you,
everyone.
those
Gerard.
taking
Thank
the
Thank
you,
you, sir.
exam.
Tracy. Thank you,
Thank
Colleen.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bye.
Tracy.
Bye.
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Gerald. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Go to the